When I first joined, right, of course I think that I want to make money, I want to build a big business.
Yeah.
But slowly along the journey, I realized that it's not about the money, it's about the person that you're becoming. Like it's really the best tool for personal development. You grow so much as a person because there's no one to blame, right? That you have to take 100%
Oh,
accountability.
yeah.
You can't blame like a
No,
boss or the market.
it all comes
Everything
up to you, right?
exactly. So it exposes all your weaknesses. So to me, it's like I realized that actually I'm becoming very strong or like getting better and better because of the business itself.
Yeah.
Like the works on me more than I work on it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean that's the thing that really keeps me going. Like even though it's like a super tough journey.
Welcome to Soul Food, a conversation that celebrates the flavors, stories, and journeys that shape us. In each episode, I sit down with someone carving their own path in life to explore the moments, mindsets, and meals that made them. I believe there's so much to be learned from the lived experiences of others, so I wanted to share these stories so we can all be inspired in unexpected ways. Today I'm speaking with Delonix Tan, who goes by Delon on social media. He's actually the third generation owner of his family's fishball business, which specializes in 100% yellowtail fishballs and yong tau foo, handmade without preservatives, flour, or fillers. Since the 1960s, Sunday has expanded from a Toa Payoh wet market stall to now a Serangoon eatery, and he also has a new central kitchen. On social media, Delon gives us a glimpse into his daily life as a hawker in 2026, also shares the laborious process of making his famously QQ, that's firm and bouncy, fish balls from scratch. I'm so excited to talk to Delon because one of the reasons he chose to leave his career in sales was to preserve our local food culture by continuing his grandfather's business. He's spoken about how though sales was nice, the wet market has shaped him into being a better person. And I can't wait to dive into his journey. Hello, Delon, and thank you so much for joining me on Soul Food today.
Hello Natasha, thanks for having me and appreciate the warm introduction. So happy to be here and excited to share.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think let's start at the beginning. Like I said, this podcast is really about learning, about the lived experience of others. And so I know that you've said as a kid you didn't really like to study. And like most people whose parents run a business, you kind of grew up alongside that business. Can you tell me a bit more about your childhood?
Yeah, sure. So back when I was in school, I couldn't really study. So I couldn't get my sense of self-worth from education part of thing. So I started to mix with the wrong companies and eventually did many silly things and joined a gang.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So um I did many silly things. Eventually I went to IT and then got expelled. Yeah. So after that was a big wake-up call for me after I got expelled from IT. And then when I decided to turn my life around, I realized that actually I have a passion for business. Yeah, so
Okay.
I tried a few things. I started my own self photo studio. I also opened my own fishball noodle stores, but those two didn't work out lah. So after a while, I realized that actually I have a family business that has been running for quite some times. And from time to time when I was young, I always help out with the store. I watched how my grandparents and my parents run the store. So I realized that actually we have a good product and really have a solid pool of customer. So instead of reinventing the wheel and trying out the businesses outside, why not just try working on the family business? Yeah, since every business is going to be tough. Yeah, so that is when I started to be more serious to get involved in the family business. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned you kind of realized you had a passion for business. Was there a certain, like something that made you realize that as you were going through, your youth?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when I got expelled from IT, right, like I mean,
Mm.
like I went to lockup lah. So after I came out from lockup, I'm very grateful. My cousin passed me like a self-help book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's like one of the
Okay.
most classic lah.
Yes.
So from there, then he also tried to share with me that actually, I mean, yeah, quite daring. Like in a fight, you go and he asked me why they go and punch the person first because I told him that the person picked a fight with me. I need to,
Yeah.
in order to protect myself, I need to attack first so that
Yep.
because there's more people over there, so if I don't attack first, I will sure get beaten up for sure. Yeah, so he said that you have all this mindset is courageous. Like if you use this mindset in business, you might do not too bad. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're recruiting people to join gang and all this. Why not use it in the right place?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that gives me the courage and the belief that actually maybe I do have some skills that could be put into a better use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that from there I went to self-help. Then from there I realized that she self-help taught a lot about business. So I
Okay.
start to explore and then slowly, eventually, that's how the passion came about. It wasn't like immediate. It
Yeah.
was a discovery phase because I lost my sense of importance as a gang member, right? So I needed a new replacement. So self-help and business were where I refounded my identity.
Yeah. So finding, like a business to work on helped you, like you said, find your sense of identity and
Mhm.
also build up your self-worth.
Correct.
Yeah.
The confidence, because like self-help and business, I mean, like you see yourself improving from day to day, doing the things that you say, keeping the promises that you make to yourself, and that over a long time create a track record and helps me to build real confidence rather than like being a gang member or doing
Yeah.
silly things.
Yeah. Was it really hard to sort of exit from that life as a member before? Because I know that, there's a lot of community bond in that kind of situation too.
Mhm.
So was it very hard for you to walk away? Was there any pressure from people that you considered your friends at that time to stay and not pursue your business? You know,
Definitely, there is a lot of pressure. In fact, at a point of time, I feel very lost because I just lost like I get all my self worth from this group of people, right? And suddenly overnight, I have no friends. I mean, I couldn't have fun. I was just grinding in the business. It was a quite a painful period lah. But after that, I managed to rebuild and get my fulfillment from achieving my goals. Like I set goals saying that, it started from something small. I want to wake up on time, wake up early,
mm,
exercising, simple things like getting my private education done, getting a driving license. So slowly I found my self-worth from keeping promises that I make to myself rather than
mm.
from external parties. Yeah, but you're right. Initially it was difficult. I just felt lost and like I don't know who am I anymore. I don't have my identity or a purpose in life.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I think what you said, what I love that you said is like it was like small things like waking up on time and doing that, and it was like really small steps that have eventually led you to who you are now. Because I talk to a lot of people, and for some of them it's like they want to make this big leap but they can't figure out how to get there.
Mhm.
And what people don't realize is there's no such thing as overnight success. Actually, it's the culmination of all these tiny steps that you
100%.
make. So
Yep.
yeah, so thanks for sharing that.
Happy
That's really
to.
cool.
Yeah.
You talked about then, okay, you want to go into your family business, and you have some experience, your parents, you've seen their business as a child. How did that view kind of change as you got older? And I know you've described your father as a craftsman. So in my mind, like craftsmen are very particular. They have very high exacting skills and standards. How is it like working with your dad?
Initially, working with my dad was very tough because when I was younger, I was more hot-headed. Then, like you say, my dad is a craftsman. So to him, he expect everything to be perfect. And to him is that if you don't know how to do something, don't waste time. Just like let him do it. So he
Mm,
can't let go of his craft. So
yeah.
for me, it's like if I don't know how to swim, I will need to go into the water and swim. If not, no matter how long I look at someone swimming, I will never learn how to do it. So initially, it was tough lah because we have a lot of public argument in the market. The web market is an open space. Yeah, but over time, I mean, he know that I'm serious about this. Then he just slowly, after me banging the wall and keep going to do the things that he don't allow me to do, over time he realized that actually it also makes his job easier that I know how to do. He can delegate some things to me. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
totally.
So over time it became better. And I also learned to understand his working style. Like instead of asking him things at the wrong time, right? Ask him when he's less busy and how
Hmm.
to communicate better. And overall, we know that we have the common goal of making the family business better. Lah.
Yeah.
It's not personal. So now things are way better.
Okay. Yeah, I have to do that with my own dad as well. Like we don't work in the business together, but I have to pick my moments when he's not like busy or stressed,
Mhm.
and to have a certain types of conversations. So yeah, I think that's something working with multi-generational, right?
Mhm.
Um I was going to ask you as well, like what does your average day look like? Are your parents still involved in the business today?
Oh yes, my parents is still involved in the business. So currently we just moved to our new central kitchen. So my day wake up at around 5 a.m. now. I don't need to wake up so early now because we produce it in the kitchen rather than in the wet market now.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
so I wake up around 5 a.m. I will travel with my parents to the factory to do production. So for them, they are mainly focused on making sure the product quality is there, making sure that the standard is still there despite our move lah. So
Yeah.
for me, it's a mixture of marketing. I will do social media content, meeting people, trying to create new B2B opportunities and managing people lah. That's something that I'm still
Yeah.
very new to and having trouble to learn with, but it's a journey lah. Yeah, so it's frustrating but fun at the same time.
Okay. You
Yeah.
mentioned 5 a.m. is not early for you. What was your usual wake up time
Oh, it's not
before?
early. We used to wake up at around like 12:30, 1 a.m. when we were doing production in the market because we need
Yeah.
to wake up early because the prep work takes around 6 to 7 hours. So we need to wake up early to make sure that we can produce in time to sell to sell in the
Yes.
market because we sell only in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's kind of something people don't think about. We go to the market in the morning, but then we don't realize how long at night people have been working the night before to
Correct.
get the things ready. So you just moved into the central kitchen like literally like last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And do you still have the stall in Topayo or?
Yes, we still have the store
Yep.
in Toa Payoh, but we take a 1 month break because I need my dad to guide me to make sure that everything in the factory is running smoothly.
Yes.
So he's there to monitor the standard, make sure that the standard is still there. So
Okay.
for Toa Payoh store, we will stop for a month before my dad will go to reopen the store in April.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
We won't let go of the store. The store it's our heritage store since my grandfather died.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let go of it no matter what.
Okay. And you have your Serangoon outlet as well.
Yes,
that's
that one is
just
still
operating as
operational,
normal.
correct.
Okay. Okay. Cool. What is it like working with parents and family so closely every day? Because I work with my husband and people ask me that all the time, like, what is it like working with my husband? I could never work with my husband. Like, why you do this? But actually I think for me, I chose my husband. So I like my husband and we actually work really well together because we can communicate. And I think when you can communicate on business things, you can also communicate on relationship things very openly. So it works for us. But when it's your family, like when it's your mom and dad, you don't get to choose who your mom and dad is. Some people don't get along with their parents at all. So what is that like for you?
Before I answer your question, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So you say you're okay working with your husband.
Yeah.
But because for me, I feel that business like 90% is negative stuff. So how
Yeah.
do you like decouple that to don't bring it back home? Because like if you're doing it with your husband, then naturally there will be a lot of bad vibes that you're talking about when you're back home. So how do you deal with that and to not make it affect your normal relationship?
Yeah, that's true. Because running a business, there's definitely going to be a lot of problem solving, problems generally are negative, firefighting kind of problems. And there are moments where we're like frustrated at the business situation and therefore maybe at each other because we're in this situation together. I think that has taught us to be very good communicators, one, and very good at not taking things personally. Because sometimes you might be in a situation and it's frustrating for many, many reasons, but you want to blame somebody. And if all the other reasons are kind of like operational reasons, there's no someone to blame, then you end up blaming that person, right? But it's allowed us to be a lot more kind of, we take a step back and we don't blame, we kind of get into problem solving mode together. So I think that's also really helped because in any relationship, like a marriage, like we've been married 11 years now, it's not always going to be like sunshine and roses. Like
sure.
often there's going to be problems and you have to choose to solve those problems together. And in a business too, it's like not like a job where you can be like, I've had enough of my boss. I'm just going to quit. I have my 1 month notice. That's it. Goodbye. But with a business, you can't just do that. You can't just fold your business. So every problem that comes about, you have to solve together in order to make your business work. And very much like marriage, you're going to have to solve your problems together in order to make your marriage work. So I think that a fun fact about us is our business is 3 years older than our marriage. So we actually worked together for quite a while before we even got married. And I think that set us up for having it set up our marriage, I guess, for success in a way, because I talked about like that ability to solve problems together. That it comes down to that, yeah.
It's a super mature way of doing
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it wasn't always. I think it helps that we're good communicators and we're not particularly like highly sensitive kind of people. Because I don't know, like sometimes you have certain staff or certain business, like not even partners, people, third party that you have to deal with, customers maybe. And some people are more sensitive about some things than other, and you have to think like, how do I phrase it to this person so that we have this issue, I have to share it, but like I don't want them to get offended or something like that. Whereas between me and my husband, we don't have that level of like, oh, how do I have to phrase it so that he's not upset or something like that. We're not worried about that. We feel safe to communicate the good, the bad, the ugly. And so I think that it started as well with having that good openness around everything that we did. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like for your parents, like I said, you don't get to choose. Me and my dad are very similar personality. I think I would find it really hard to work with him because I think we would combat a lot. So I just wonder, in your perspective, like what has the experience been like?
I think similar to what I've shared just now, starting it was very difficult because we were hot headed and I didn't find the right communication style. But actually over time when I look back now, right, actually I enjoy and appreciate all those moments because I realized that actually because of the business, because we are working together, even though we are working, but we actually documented and created many good memories that I think I will carry along with me
Yeah.
throughout life. Lah. So I mean it's not easy, but overall I think it's a positive experience for me. And in fact, I felt that our bond got stronger because we got a common interest in the business and common goal of like preserving our family culture and the wet market culture.
Yeah. How did they feel when you said you wanted to join them full time?
Oh man, that was that was bad because actually no hawkers or fishmonger want their kids to join the industry
Mm,
because it's just a very tough industry, right? Your
yeah.
hours are opposite. You have no work life balance, and
Hmm.
there are just way better option out there if you're in it for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad as well had the same reaction when I said I'm going to start a business, not
Hmm.
even join his business because he closed his business before I was old enough to work. But he was also like, no, like, why are you going to do this to yourself? Like, you're going to
Yeah.
have like,
Super painful,
it's really
painful
super
life.
painful,
Yeah.
But as someone in my mid 20s at that time, I was kind of like, you have that youthful courage,
The drive.
naivety or
Yeah.
whatever, and you're
Correct.
like, it'll be fine. So, but I get it that like, and I think that's kind of sad. And that leads me on to one of the questions I was going to ask, like about the future of our wet markets and our food culture, right? Because a lot of the people in it don't even want their kids to be in this industry. So, how do you think our wet market culture and our hawker culture will go on for next generation?
To be honest, I think that it's clear that it's declining because I mean I grew up in the wet market. Initially, it was like very bustling, a lot of people, but you can tell like along the years there's more supermarket, there's more online options. So it's very obvious that it's declining. So I think that to be honest, I don't really have a clear answer to that. But what I try to do is that I just try to document down my journey to hopefully inspire younger generation to give this industry a shot, to let them know that actually being a craftsman or a tradesperson can be cool as well. Yeah.
Yeah. You just mentioned a little bit about the changes. Like, can you describe some of those changes to us? Like, are the people who operate the stores different? And what kind of percentage, I guess, if you can share, of kids do take over their parents' business, or is there a lot of new people coming in? And who are those people?
I don't have like hard data, but
Yeah.
I do see young people that go into the trade like to try. But after usually a year or so, they will just leave lah because they will realize that actually there are better, easier option
Yeah.
out there. So for now, what I see in the market is mainly older generation. It's
Okay.
those older generation that is still holding on to the store because they're just used to it. Yeah, there's rarely any new entrants that is coming in. So if you go to any wet market in Singapore now, right, actually you will see a lot of empty stores. So it's a
Mm.
very common thing. And overall, I think it's bad for wet market because even when someone go to a wet market, right, they want to have variety. It's like you go to
Yes.
NTUC or supermarket, you want to see
Yeah.
fish, you want to see vegetables. But imagine you go to a wet market only, let's say only got fishball. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be a good experience for you, no matter how nice the fishball is, because there's no vegetable. It's not a complete experience. So it's something that I think is hard to solve. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you how do you think you know because I'm always very interested in food
Mm-hmm.
culture. I try to preserve food culture. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, and I do talk to people in the food industry to share their stories and share how like we as just ordinary people can support. Like, is there what do you think we can do to help the decline of the wet market culture that
I
you're seeing?
think that maybe like in general, we have more education to let people. Because in Singapore, I think it's still very traditional. We still look up to white collar jobs rather than blue collar jobs. But I think that if we place more awareness on blue collar job to let people know that actually blue collar job can be rewarding, can be fulfilling as well, and can be cool as well, maybe more people will consider this line of work. Because I think in certain countries like Japan, craftsmen, a woman are known to be something that is very cool or respected.
Mm,
But in
yeah,
Singapore, it's still imagine you tell someone that hey, I'm a fishmonger. People will be like, even when I first joined the industry, my friends say, hey, why you want to go and do that when you have a sales job? I mean, like it's more comfy, normal hours. Why would you want to put yourself in this kind of predicament as if it's a very bad thing when it's a
yeah,
personal choice? So I think if this the
right.
perspective can shift a bit and more emphasis is being placed on craft and trade works, then I think that would be something to encourage more people to try. Yeah, to give this industry a shot and so that it won't die off so quickly.
Yeah, you made a good point about like in Japan, all these very traditional cultural arts or cultural heritage food, it's actually protected by like certain government schemes. And so it's also made financially viable for people to go into these industries and train for 20 years to like become, I don't know, a knife maker or something, quite niche like that.
Mhm.
And I wonder if Singapore needs to head in that direction too, where there's needs to be like more, I guess, institutionalized support for people who go into these industries. Because I think the hard work is one thing, the long hours and the unglamorous nature of it is another, but also it's the financial viability, right? Like, do you
Mhm.
think that people, Singapore's not a cheap place to live. Like, do you think that it's financially viable for people to go into these industries?
Personally, I think that it is viable. I mean, of course, you can't be rich being in this industry, unlike in the past, but I think you can make a decent income if your food or product is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's more of the mental barrier of people, what people think. A lot of
Mm,
people, even last time when I was younger, when I first joined, I'm actually very concerned about what my friends think about me. Like,
okay.
when everyone dressed up, looks good in the office wear, while I'm like every day wear the same clothes and smell fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a mental barrier. But once you get past that, you realize that actually, I mean, it's nothing. I think it's mainly mental than money. In fact, even some people, they know that you can make money in this trade. They rather not. They rather
Yeah.
go for a lower salary and a corporate job than to do this trade itself, because the overall package just doesn't look glamorous to
Right,
them.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's more about mental actually than financial
correct.
even. Okay. That's a really interesting perspective because I would have assumed it's more like on the financial side. Like people can't make it work. You hear about the struggles of F&B and things like that.
Mhm.
So, okay. And you share pretty openly on social media about your reality of your day to day, and I think that's like what you said earlier, it's your way of documenting and preserving our culture in a way. Why is that something that's so important to you?
I think it's something that is very important to me because like I grew up in this environment, right? And actually I realized that there's many interesting things that people in the wet market are doing. Like for example, for modern people, how we keep our food chilled is in the chiller or freezer.
Yeah.
But in the wet market, we actually use something called ice box. Basically, like you put crushed ice. It's a very
Yeah.
traditional way of like maintaining freshness of food. So I think all this kind of thing is like it's very cool and unique that normally people don't see.
Yeah.
So I feel that if I don't document it down, right, like then there won't be much record of all this kind of thing, because I'm still learning also. Then I realized from my dad, actually all these people, the whole way the economy work, not economy, I mean the wet market culture work is so
Yes.
interesting. Like how do you use the most minimum resources to get the maximum outcome? How do you, without shelving, very nice display shelving like shopping malls, right? How do you display your items? So they are very creative and innovative in their own way. So I thought that it would be cool if I could document down this side that people don't really see, because opposite timing, by the time you go to the wet market, most of the store are already closed already. I mean, if you
Yes.
go in the afternoon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's something that is important to me, and I want to document it down, whether or not I can survive in the trade long term or not. I just hope that it's something that at least people know, that it's this type of thing that's around or
Yeah.
used to have. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for documenting that because I think it is something that people are interested in, and I think like it's like we had libraries and cookbooks and stuff like that back in the old days too. Now is a great way to document visually the things that might be lost, I guess, and things that people don't know about.
Mhm.
You mentioned briefly like you know having minimal resources and but then having to achieve these maximal results or maximal goals. And I think that's linked to something that you also mentioned the first time we met about how the wet market has made you a better person. And one thing you said to me when we had our initial meeting was, it's not about the money, but it's about the person you're becoming. And I thought that was very beautiful and true because so many people, you start a business, myself included, and we talk about how like running a business is one of the best vehicles for personal development. It makes you a better person because it just teaches you so many lessons about hardship and frugality, humility, maximizing, like you said, whatever resources that you have. So you have to be very clever and innovative in many ways. Tell me more about that experience and why you have come to feel that way.
I think like everyone else, or like you also, when I first joined, right, of course I think that I want to make money, I want to build a big business.
Yeah.
But slowly along the journey, I realized that it's not about the money, it's about the person they are becoming. Like it's really the best do for personal development, you grow so much as a person because there's no one to blame, right? That you have to take 100%
Oh
accountability. You,
yeah.
you can't blame like a
No.
boss or the market.
It all comes
Everything
up to you, right?
exactly. So it exposes all your weaknesses. So to me, it's like I realized that actually I'm becoming very strong or like getting better and better because of the business itself.
Yeah.
Like the works on me more than I work on it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean that's the thing that really keeps me going. Like even though it's like a super tough journey. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen in yourself?
I think it's the way I live my life. I used to be someone that like I like to sleep late, I like to drink and have fun and wake up late. But now I can sleep early. I'm very disciplined. I can take hardship. I used to complain a lot when I was a kid. Wow, say this one very tough, this one very tough. But now that I'm
Yeah.
running a business, I realize that all those things that most people complain about, or what I complain about, is so insignificant.
Right.
There is no risk involved. It's basically complaining for the sake of complaining. So I
Mm.
realized that I become very gritty. I can take hardship. I understand what hard work feels like. So it just completely changed my view and the way I live my life. I
Yeah.
try to optimize my health, my mental health, my physical health, so that I can perform optimally for the business. So it's really changed the way I plan out my life and my in general lah. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things you do to optimize like your physical and mental health? Because I feel like, you wake up for most people, 5 a.m. is still considered really
Mm-hmm.
early. So where do you squeeze in the time and what do you do to help yourself with that?
So I do simple exercises lah. I mean, for me, I just use the standard Singapore guys IPPT, like push up, sit out, and jogging. I do it 4 times per week,
Mm.
and then I try to eat clean. I try to eat predominantly high protein and plant based food. Yeah, I try to sleep at least 7 hours now. With the factory, I can sleep a bit longer.
Yeah.
Try to journal down to understand why I feel a certain way. Like if a staff made me angry or someone made me angry, I try to like instead of like blaming on them, I try to reflect and like understand why am I feeling this way.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all these simple self-help things that it sounds boring and simple, but it really helps a lot. And simple
Yeah.
things like meditating for like 5 to 7 minutes, going for walks. I think all those really help me to regulate myself even when I'm feeling very overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's so true. Like I'm a big like fan of just going for a walk. Like
Mhm.
if things feel like too much, and you feel like, oh, I don't have time to go for a walk. That sounds so luxurious, but like going for a walk just helps you like like declog, I guess, a lot of the
Declutter,
problems. Yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, I find like nowadays I will try and do like a clearing the mind kind of walk, just and then get your steps in, so that's an extra benefit. But
So
it
other
really
than
helps.
walking, what do you do? Because your journey is
Gosh,
crazy also, right? You
yeah. So I
for factory.
actually, yeah, I wake up pretty early too. I wake up by 5:30 or 6, and then I will try and send my kids to school because I've got like primary school age children. They start at 7:30, so by then school
Early.
drop off is done. So it's between that 7:30 to 8:30. I try and like do some kind of exercise, like walk outdoors, like looking at the sky kind of thing. Or if I'm really rushed, I do a 15-minute stair climb. I found I can climb like 30 floors in 15
It's
minutes.
crazy.
And it's like great cardio workout. It also just gets your blood moving for the day. And it's only 15 minutes. So there's never any excuse to be like, "Oh, I can't do it." Like 15 minutes, you can spare 15 minutes,
Correct.
And then when everyone kind of starts working at 8:39, then I will be available for meetings and stuff like that until the end of the day. Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, that's how I squeeze it in. But it hasn't always been that way. I think I really neglected my physical health for many, many years. Like I just didn't do it. I was just always like, there's just no time. There was always like an excuse. Like I have to do this meeting or I have to do this design or whatever it is. But I've realized like it's about your priorities. There's always going to be an excuse. You just have to put it
Got it
into
in.
your
Yeah.
schedule. So
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about like your product, right? Because you've been making fishbowl for 3 generations. So can you tell us a little bit more about your product, what makes it special and how to make the perfect fishbowl?
Okay. So actually, our product is making fishbowl is not rocket science. It's just that nowadays, because as Singapore become developed, right? Everything is highly processed.
Okay.
So most fishbowl out there you eat, they have this thing like they put in like flour or this thing called surimi. So it's basically a mixture of cheaper fish with like some chemical or stabilizer to make sure that the product can last.
Okay.
So for us, our fishbowl is made using 100% yellowtail fish. Only 4 ingredients actually. I share openly on my social media like yellowtail fish, salt, water, and MSG.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's no secret in it. It's just that we use pure ingredient.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the process is not easy. It's not difficult, but it's very labor and time intensive. So we first need to chop the fish into smaller pieces first. Then we need to grind it through a grinder twice to make sure that it's fine enough to be processed. Then after that, we need to put it in like a something like a mixer, like a cake mixer,
Yep.
to add water, to add MSG, to add the seasoning, etc. Yeah. So after that, after the paste is done, you will need to shape the fish ball, be it by hand or by machine, and or even stuffed yong tau fu. So the whole process takes around 6 to 8 hours, depending on how much volume you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many people do you have doing that nowadays?
Currently 3%.
Okay.
3%. Still a very manual process, even though we moved to a CK already, but
Yeah.
it's still very manual because
Okay.
I feel that um some machinery just changes the texture of the product. Like we were talking about just now, the ice cream, right? If you make
Yep.
in big batches, it's just different from making in small batches.
Yep. Yeah, it's very different going from that artisanal product to like trying to commercialize it. So for you guys, you're still doing quite small batch, handmade style. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you mentioned your ingredients. It's great that you're using the 100% yellowtail fish. Things like MSG get quite a bad rap in the media. Like, what do you feel about that?
Personally, I actually can read up about it. Like, I think it's a
Yeah.
bit. It's not really. I don't think it's really true. Like, as long as you're not overdoing it, right? MSG
Right.
is okay. It's found in food like
It's
mushrooms and all.
naturally
Yeah,
occurring.
it's natural
Yeah.
occurring thing. I don't think it's harmful. That's like even when I
Hmm.
first putting on social media, people say, hey, you shouldn't put MSG. People might be afraid. I say
Right.
I'll be honest about our ingredient.
Yep.
I don't think that it's even bad in the first place. We don't put in so much dosage that it causes any harmful effect to
That's
people.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like all these things, like for ice cream, I think the equivalent of MSG in ice cream is like things like stabilizers and emulsifiers, and we do use some of those. We use like some plant derived gums and things like that, because you need to keep the shelf life stable and safe for long term consumption. Like a lot of our products are sent overseas now, or they're sold in supermarkets. It's not like we make it and you buy it from our shop
Yeah,
that
makes
day.
sense.
And so we do need to, but what people don't realize is it's in such tiny amounts, like it's less than 1% of the total product for us. And so, yeah, we do get people who are, because these things like in nutrition, like there's always kind of it cycles through, like right now, like seed oils, vegetable oils are getting a very bad rap, but there's a lot of nutritionists who are saying, actually, it's not that bad. It's just like, what the media is saying right now at this point in time.
hear you.
So yeah, I think for people like us in food as well, it's quite difficult to balance that perception of what media is saying is a good ingredient or a bad ingredient, and it continues to change every day. Like they'll find something to pick on. Yeah,
I understand. But less than
Yeah.
1% is okay. Like, if it's so little.
it's
the
very
volume.
little. Yeah. Have you had to change anything? You mentioned like you've moved into the central kitchen. Are there some things you've had to change about your business when you stepped in to be more active? Like, because I guess 3 generations ago, you do certain things a certain way. Are there some things that you've had to change to modernize your business today?
To be honest, the only thing that I really touch on is social media.
Okay.
Because I feel that our product is really a proven product. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the 4 ingredients. I don't think we need to change a good product. So what I do is that I basically, I think social media is a low-hanging fruits, right? Like, not
Yep.
everybody is using social media. So I basically just document our journey to let more people know about us, because we have a lot of returning and regular customer nearby our market. So we are usually sold out very early. So people outside of Toa Payoh or the area that we are serving, they don't know about our product. That's why I use social media to gain exposure, to let people know about that we exist.
Yeah.
Like there are people that are still making fishball by hand nowadays. Yeah, so I think that's my main focus, and that's what I've been doing. I never really touched the product itself, because I think it's good really. It's just more of like, how do I spread the word out? How do I market to the consumer? How do I find the new channels to sell into? Like nowadays, where market is declining, right? So that's why I even started Santa Yong Tau Fu, which is the way that the cooked food format that people can eat, because nowadays people don't really cook. Yeah, so I think it's more of like discovering new channels and marketing rather than changing the core of the product itself.
Okay. So you've stayed true to, I guess, what your grandfather has already created.
Yep,
And
exactly the
just
same.
finding a new way to bring it to people.
Correct.
Okay. And I guess like in today's day and age, you touched upon social media. There's so many like just tricks and hacks and shortcut ways to make a certain product. Like, like the viral cheesecake. I don't know if you saw the TikTok cheesecake where you put biscuits into yogurt and it turns into cheesecake. It's like a
Oh,
shortcut
so cool.
way of like making things. In this day and age of kind of like these low effort hacks, like why do you still go to the trouble of doing it your traditional Sunday way? Do you think that the customers can tell the difference?
I do it in the traditional way because firstly, I want to preserve the culture, and secondly, I feel that no matter what food, when you make in small batches, right, there will still be a difference. Like personally, I'm a fan of craft beer, so when I drink craft beer and highly commercialized beer, right, it just hits differently. Yeah, there's still like maybe general public don't understand, but true fans, they will still taste the difference. but you're right on that. Younger people, some of the younger people, in fact, they find our fishball a bit fishy because there's
Okay.
higher fish content. So they're
Yes.
very used to like those very low content fish balls from factory. So sometimes they say, how your fishball like a bit fishy.
Mm.
Yeah, but some like my new Yong Tau Fu shop, right? Mainly of our customer is baby boomers. So they are used to, they know what real fishball tastes like. So yeah, you're right. Younger people, they might not appreciate it because they don't know what real fishball is like. But older people who have tasted real fishball, they appreciate it and they are happy that we are still keeping it, keeping the tradition alive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that people appreciate, but they need to also understand the work behind it, I think, to then fully appreciate what you're
Correct.
doing. Yeah. And you're now third generation. Do you feel like there's a weight in trying to preserve your business maybe for the fourth generation, or do you feel like it's a privilege to pass this business and heritage on?
To me, it's a privilege. I
Yeah.
mean, it's my own personal dream and goal. I wouldn't try to force it upon my kids because like both of us know running a business is just brutal and tough, man. I wouldn't want it. I don't want to wish it upon my child unless they want it themselves. If not, they wouldn't survive anyway. If they come in because I asked them to, or they have no interest, they have no passion, I think they will break lah.
Yeah. That's a recipe
So I
for
mean, if
failure.
they're interested, that would be good. But if they're not interested, then it's okay. Yeah, I try my best. This is my own dream anyway.
Yeah. You mentioned before when we met that you want the business to reach 100 years. What year are you in now, actually?
Now it's 60 plus because my grandmother said that 1960, so it's now 60 plus years.
Yeah.
So if I work until I retire, then it will be over 100 years already.
Wow. Okay. I have to see that. You talked about a lot of your customers being baby boomers in your outlets. Is there something special or something very memorable that a customer has shared with you?
Yes, but it's not product related. I just remember, but it's more of like relationship one because like got this old auntie that always buy for my family. So one day I was happy in the market. He said, "Hey, I watched your dad like run around the market when he was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then now like you are here selling. So that really hits me like wow, actually really." We have been really 2-3 generations of hard work and passion to keep this going. That this auntie is saying that watch my dad is really 60 plus already.
Yeah,
So
she watched him grow up.
Yeah, so it's like to me it's like wow, that is really encouraging in a sense, and also made me feel very heartful in a sense. Yeah. So I think that is the most memorable one that I remember. It's not really product related lah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And what do you hope for the future of Sundae? Like now you have literally just set up your central kitchen. What was the thinking behind that? And are you trying to like now supply more outlets, or what are your goals?
My goal is to preserve the culture, and I feel that by doing it in the wet market, it's not sustainable because now really the big chunk of the work is done by me and my parents, but they are already in their 60s and it's very labor intensive. So I hope that with a CK, right, we can build a proper team and then we can really continue passing on this tradition in a systemized way. Yeah, I feel that could really help me to enhance the longevity of the brand because example, if my parents cannot work anymore, one of us falls sick, we cannot sustain without a proper team behind. And there's a lot of limitation in the web market. You can't hire like there's hiring limitation and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So the goal is for me personal goal is I hope to bring it to around, we have 8 outlets. Yeah, so we are working on our second outlet right now. Yeah, so hopefully we survive.
Yeah.
It's not easy for F&B. I mean, you are in F&B now. It's just very difficult, but I think it's something that I need to learn to work on.
Yeah, I think it needs a lot of creativity, but also just like passion and the need to just follow through, right? So I think
correct, a lot of passion and greed. Just be able to take all the problems that comes your way.
Yeah. You talked a lot about how like there's a lot of hardship in business. Can you share with us like one particular moment or a time that was very difficult and how you got through it?
I think the toughest period was when I just started my Serangoon shop. Because at that point of time I was doing production. After production, I went to my shop to start to run the operations with my team. And tiring is one thing. That the hardest part was no one know what to do in the shop. So I got to tank all the hard work, and I couldn't really sleep. I slept like 2-3 hours per night. Then at that point, I was really questioning myself. Like, shit, did I made the wrong decision to continue this business? I understand why my dad said don't do business, but I mean, of course, after some time, the team get better. I mean, we stabilize lah. Yeah, but there are many moments that like that lah. Basically, like like what you say, you change factory like 4 times, upgrade the factory.
Yes, we have.
So it's like every step change is just so painful. Like even moving to my new CK, right? Wow, it's like the whole flow changes. Everything is messy. Something will cock up along the way. So everything changes is just painful. And in business, the only thing that is constant is change. If you don't change, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're actually regressing because the whole the whole economy and the whole world is improving. So it's just painful to constantly change in like every few months or every few weeks. Yeah. but I've learned to so-called enjoy it lah, because I know that if I tahan through this, right, I will feel very good because I grow as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, with all this growth, you need to build a team. So, can you tell me a bit about how do you find the people in your team? Because I think what everyone says is like, oh, it's so hard to find manpower to work in F&B kind of industries in Singapore. How do you find your people?
To me, I just go through an agent.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
agent. Yeah, thankfully, so far all the people I got is they are very good lah. They're very hardworking. Yeah, so I'm still learning. To be honest, I'm still at a very early stage of my journey. So yeah, but I just go through an agent. I don't have the bandwidth to go and hire myself right
Yeah,
now. So I just go through
yeah.
an HR agent to hire for me. Then try to keep whoever that is good and to train them and to share what I can, and hopefully they will stay over the long run.
Yeah. I have just some quick fire questions to finish off the conversation. What was your very first ice cream memory?
To be honest, I don't really remember, but should be McDonald's. I don't
McDonald's
really recall.
ice cream. Yeah, that's a classic. Do you lick or bite your ice cream?
Bite. I think it's more satisfying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
More
You don't
shook.
have sensitive teeth for sure. What is your absolute favorite snack?
Frankly, to be honest, I don't really snack.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't snack.
Okay. Very healthy.
Yeah, try to.
Tell me about one trait you have without which you would not be where you are today.
I think that would be self-discipline. I think the discipline to and grit to show up day after day, no matter how hard things get.
And was that something I guess you cultivated as you grew older?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I realized that actually that is some self-discipline is something that is very important. I even tattoo it on my arm, like this is a Chinese word,
Yeah.
自律. Yeah, so it's something that I really believe in. I believe that with self-discipline, you can literally change the trajectory of your life or live the life that you want to live, but you have to be disciplined about it to keep iterating even after multiple failures.
Yeah, amazing. And what would you say to someone who's kind of like not sure how to find that within themselves? What advice would you give them?
Advice, I think basically just do the small thing right. Like keep the promises you make to yourself. Like you say, you're gonna wake up on this timing, you're gonna do this by today. Just hit all the small milestones. Over time, when you got a track record, you will start to build self-confidence. Then you realize that actually you could be a disciplined person. Yeah.
Okay. What is something you used to believe about yourself or the world that you've since outgrown?
I used to think that you have to be intelligent in order to be successful in life or to achieve certain things in life, or that I'm not meant for certain thing in life because I wasn't good in school, right? But I learned that it's not, a false belief is not true. I now learn that everything is a matter of practice and it's learnable. So as long as you are willing to try, to learn, to keep iterating after multiple round of failures, right, you can actually become or like do most of the things that you want to do in life. Not everything. I mean, some goals are delusional, but most 90% of the goals is achievable, I feel.
Yeah. That's beautiful, actually. And what is one thing you think everyone should eat in their lifetime and why?
I think I will shamelessly promote my own fishball because we've been doing this for 3 generations and no one really make fishball the way we make right now.
Yeah.
Like in small batches and authentic way.
Yeah, I mean, I tried them before and yeah, they're really awesome, actually. So and my kids love it too. So yeah.
Happy to hear that.
What's a piece of advice that changed your life?
Thing will be everything is a matter of practice and everything is learnable. Yeah, I remember like when I was in sales, right? I remember my first sales call was just terrible. Yeah, but after calling, I just eventually got used to it. And I remember my first video interview as well. I used to be so afraid to speak. I was stuttering. It's still on YouTube, the video. I was so embarrassed. Yeah, but now I'm not saying that I speak very well now, but I can speak more properly now. So I realized that everything is really a matter of practice and everything is learnable if you put your heart into it. Just into practice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your journey, your business, and your story. I think it's been actually really inspirational because you're a real example of someone who has just, like you said, put things into practice and from little baby steps have made a big impact, actually. So thank you so much. I've loved having this conversation with you.
I had fun too. Thanks for having me, Natasha.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you enjoyed listening to Soul Food, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe, or share the episode with a friend. It helps us grow so we can keep bringing you thoughtful conversations. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope it brought a little inspiration, insight, and sweetness to your day.